Welcome back to Rent Smart with JDG. Today, we're going to break down some of the key terms and sections that you might find in your tenancy agreement. This document is crucial. It sets out your rights and responsibilities as a tenant, as well as your landlord's obligations. But let's face it, some of the legal language can be a bit confusing, but don't worry, I'm here to help. Here are some of the most important terms to understand. First up, Assured Short Hold Tenancy, or AST. This is the most common type of rental agreement in England and Wales. It means you have the right to live in the property for an agreed period, usually 6 or 12 months. But it also allows your landlord to reclaim the property under certain conditions, like giving you proper notice. The law will be changing soon to assured tenancies, which don't include a fixed period and are just month to month. We'll let you know when this happens. The break clause. Some agreements include this clause, which allows either you or the landlord to end the tenancy early, usually after a set period like 6 months. Check your agreement to see if this applies to you and what conditions may be attached. Joint and several liability. If you're renting with others, this term means that you're all equally responsible for the rent and any damages. So if one tenant can't pay, the others may have to cover their share. Deposit and deposit protection. Your deposit, typically up to 5 weeks' rent, must be protected in a government-approved scheme like the Tenancy Deposit Scheme, or the TDS. This ensures it's handled fairly and returned at the end of the tenancy, minus any deductions for damages or unpaid rent. Fair wear and tear. This refers to the natural aging process of the property or the items inside it, like a carpet losing its colour. You're not responsible for this kind of wear, but you are for any excessive damage, for example, a stain on the carpet. Fair wear and tear is proportional to the amount of length of the tenancy. Inventory and schedule of condition. This is a detailed document listing the property's contents and condition at the start of the tenancy. It's vital to check it carefully and flag any discrepancies to avoid disputes later. The rent and rental period. This outlines how much rent you'll pay, when it's due, and how often. Typically, rent is paid monthly in advance, but it's important to read these dates, times, and amounts carefully to avoid any confusion when paying rent. The landlord's obligations. Your landlord must ensure the property is safe and habitable, including maintaining the structure, heating, and appliances. They're also required to carry out gas and electrical safety checks. This section of the agreement will set out the clauses that the landlord should fulfill, so it is important to check this carefully. The tenant's obligations. As a tenant, you're responsible for paying rent on time, keeping the property clean, and reporting maintenance issues promptly. You'll also need to avoid causing any damage beyond normal wear and tear. This section will outline what you'll be responsible for and what you can and can't do, so check it carefully. The right to rent checks. This is a legal requirement for landlords to confirm you have the right to reside in the UK. You'll need to provide valid identification, like passports, visas, or other paperwork before moving in. These are just a few of the key terms you'll come across, but tenancy agreements can vary. Always read yours carefully and don't hesitate to ask questions if something isn't clear. By signing a tenancy agreement, you are legally binding yourself to the clauses in there. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to reach out or head over to our handy form where you can submit any clause or legal terms that you aren't sure of, and one of our team will get back to you with an explanation. Thank you for tuning in to Rent Smart with JDG. Don't forget to like, follow, and share to stay updated with more tips to make renting stress-free. See you next time.